Hi, my name is welcome back to my channel, and let's get into talking about some knitting. First of all, I'm wearing my Noel vest. I have just finished it recently, and it is not actually finished. It is complete with the fake button band, but I still need to put on the buttons, but it's not really necessary for the integrity of the piece. And also I will be doing some crochet stitches or duplicate stitches to create like a tartan look, and that was to match the skirt that I have made last year. I will be making kind of this going on up here, probably not like right down the middle of the breast, but maybe a little bit to the side. I'm excited I finished it because I have decided last year that I want to have this ready for Christmas. And of course it is not like ready, but we'll just have to do the decorations later, and it's wearable now, so I'm satisfied enough. But basically I have done the test knit for this skirt, Noel skirt for Fable Knitwear, before Christmas last year, but I did not end up finishing it when it was due. And I kind of finished it early January. This is like the first piece that I've made in January. And I knew I wanted to have a set. So I got that yarn quite, I don't know, maybe even in the spring or so. Then once I finished the sweater I made for a friend of my daughter, I decided to cast this on. I knew it will not take super long time because it is small. It's less than one skein of yarn, kind of, or rather less than 2 skeins held together. But you know, it was still kind of fiddly with like changing colors and knitting the stripes here. It's not that difficult, but it was a little bit fiddly, not so easy to take on the go, and I was playing yarn chicken regarding the green here in the stripes, and that meant a lot of fiddling around with small pieces of yarn that had no business being knitted into a garment, but that's how it went. So I'm just glad to have that set done. Of course, once I finished this vest, the elastic from the skirt has snapped, so I need to replace that because otherwise the skirt will just probably gonna fall over time. But nevertheless, I'm relatively satisfied. One more thing I just need to mention is that the yarn I've used was Fable Knitwear's yarn in color Advent, and I'm not sure, you know, I've been using the skirt a lot since I made it in January, and so I don't know if it has kind of washed out a little bit, or it's just a different in the skeins, because obviously they are hand dyed. So the vest is currently a little bit darker, but I don't think it stands out so much, but like I notice it because like I'm just looking at it so precisely. But that's just how it is with hand-dyed yarn, and you have to be okay with it. But overall, I'm quite satisfied with the fit. It's not too short, and with I'm wearing, of course, something under. I would not be wearing it without anything. I'm a little bit more sensitive than that. The skirt had pockets, so it cuts off quite where the skirt begins, and I think that will be a nice set to have. But of course you can't really see very well because I'm wearing this black underneath. Maybe a different, maybe more contrasting color, maybe a white would have been nicer, but yeah. So with that off my needles, I have actually picked up my like Quidditch socks, socks of shame, kind of, and in my defense I have made one sock. I think I've discussed it before, and I'm like right now past the heel, like it has an afterthought heel, so I've put in yarn, waste yarn, and then I'll unravel it and do the heel. So the point is that I had to take off, I had to put it on hold for a while because I knit another 2 pairs of socks, also on 3mm needles. These are made on 3mm needles. And the point is that I only have one set of these small circulars, And I don't know, maybe I should just get another one. However, this is the first year that I've done like, you know, more than a pair of socks, or just even a pair of socks in a while. So this year I've made 2 pairs plus this one. So if I can finish it in a couple of days, which I think I could if I, you know, it goes really fast. So basically it's been a sock heavy for me, and that's only 3 socks, 3 pairs. Anyway, point is, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that I think if I give it a good shot the next couple of evenings, I can finish these socks this year, and I think that could be really funny, because I had some ambitions to finish some of my whips, and with that being finished, I'm kind of a little bit on the roll. Of course, not finish, like, but from other whips that I have, this is the only one that is, you know, doable in like the next week or so. So I'll just do that and have a little bit clearer whip box in for the New Year's. Christmas is a busy time, so as much as I would love to just like sit and knit, I have small kids, and it's just, I know that's not going to happen. So I need to be realistic with what I can do to make myself feel better for the next year. And I think it will feel really nice to have a slightly clearer slate. I think I've shown this a couple of times as well. This hat made of lang cashmere that I made for my husband. So this hat I also have shown before, and it's been seriously lying around for, I don't know, like a year. And all it needs is to weave in ends, maybe block. And what I will do is I will sew in a piece of like felted wool kind of on the inside that was the idea, of a piece of like old sweater or whatever. And then kind of like sew that in to have a to enclose it, to have a little bit more tighter fabric around ears, because as nice and soft as it is, it kind of leaves these gaps, and like, you know, like it's fine, but it kind of depends what you want, right? So I think he will enjoy having a little bit of a additional insulation. And I can't find the fabric that I wanted to use for it, but I found something else, and I think it will work. My problem was, it kind of stretches a little bit, right, as it goes over his big head, but the inside has to stretch in the similar amount. So but you don't want to make it too bulky. So I've been trying to figure out how to do it best. I think I know how to, and this is just my like. I'm just trying to psych myself up to finish this, because like it's almost done. Like I can't even like excuse myself anymore. Like this needs to like just get done. It needs to get done. Winter's here. He needs it. Okay. As we sit and chat a little bit longer, I'm gonna use this Norwegian knitting thimble to knit these socks. I have discussed these socks before, but I did not really pay attention so much to, I can't manage this. I have not been paying attention to yarn dominance. So it kind of changes throughout, especially through this sock. Right now, here you can see the red is more dominant, and then yellow eventually becomes more dominant. So it's just socks. I don't really care. But after these, I don't think I'll be doing color work socks for a while, because it's just it's fine. But especially with this kind of pattern, I think it comes out a little bit like funky. And I know everyone's gonna say, oh, it's because of your tension or whatever. But even when my tension is like, you can see the floats in the back are quite long. Still, it just kind of bunches up, and I don't know how it will wear. So that's just We'll just have to see. I think because I will have a bunch of this yarn left over and I want to make another Gryffindor socks. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit stripes. Okay, like that's also not my favorite kind of stripe spent for a moment. But I think depending on the amount of yarn that is left over, I'll either just do, you know, a couple rounds of either color. But I think I have to assess the amount of yarn that's left and, oh no, the amount of yarn that I have left, and also how long I want them and how far they can get me. Because like it's hard to kind of maybe judge based on these ones because they are color work, so they will take twice as much ish yarn as if I just make stripes, right? So maybe if I make the stripy ones, I can get quite far. But also I think I can be creative with toes and heel regarding colors. Which one, you know, if I'll end up with one of them having more yarn, because I have used quite some more from the red than the yellow. Let's see. Like, I'm okay with tapping into another ball if needed. Another thing I thought we could chat quickly about is the color of the year chosen by Pantone. And I was not going to discuss this because it's not really knitting related. However, I think being in the, you know, fiber arts sphere and choosing colors for your makes like that, you know, that puts us right into that field. So let's have a quick chat about it. So I did not know much about Pantone until I've seen some video some months ago about what they actually do. And you know, they actually don't produce like the paint or anything. They just produce the books where the colors are displayed and have codes and names, right? And you know, whatever, like they used to be in the printing business, but you know, now no longer. They're more like selling these color books and licensing colors, I guess. But the point is that they look into like the vibes of the society and pick colors that they think are gonna be the main color, the vibe color for the year. So the colors of the year recently were Mocha Mousse, I think that was for the previous year, and Peach Fuzz. But before that, they were much more vibrant for some years. And seeing the Cloud Dancer white as the color of the year made me think that they don't really know people at all. We have to remember that this color has been decided probably like a year and a half ago in some boardroom, and maybe the vibes were different, whatever, and it doesn't really matter, kind of, because you can do whatever. You don't have to paint everything white or peach fuzz or whatever. But with that being said, some companies will rely on that prediction, right? And we're just going to end up with a lot of white stuff. And so my point is that we have gone through whites. White being white kitchens, white everything. Think Kim Kardashian's house, right? Then we went through gray. Then we went through beige. And I'm quite partial to the beige era just because it feels like the most natural to me, and the most natural neutral color is just color of earth and nothing, right? It's the most calming to me. I know that people can have different ideas. And I'm sitting here in my gray house because we have not repainted since we bought that house. And I would have not chosen this color. It's just gray. I would not. It is not as bright as some version of white or cream would be. It is not as nice and moody as some other deeper colors. It's just gray, and whatever, millennium gray. But the point is that we have been through those phases, and I'm not saying that now everyone's just like painting everything crazy colors, but kind of, since the pandemic, people have gone into, first we went through the minimalist aesthetics, then towards maximalist, because people have been home and like empty house is kind of depressing. And now, of course, after pandemic, everything has calmed down again, but we are far from clear white spaces now, I think. Like, I don't think anyone really thinks of them as aspirational, right? So for clothing, of course, like if you think about like regarding knitting and stuff, of course you can knit in white and no one can, it doesn't matter to anybody what colors you work in, right? My point is that white is a very safe choice for them, in the sense that, like, yeah, sure, of course white is gonna be popular, you know what I mean? Like, white is like the easiest thing. It's like they so did not want to decide that they just went with white, like whatever, man. That's one thing. And then the second thing is that this is not what people crave anymore. Like we don't need white to be like the most like calming presence. There's all these other colors that we have learned to like and embrace, like all the beiges and all the sage green and all that. No one wants like just white emptiness, white void. Like I don't know. Maybe people do. I don't know. Maybe I just don't. So that's why I just can't relate. And but my main point is, if I was to say that, like, when was white the color of the year, I would be like 2015, 2016 farmhouse kitchen, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm wrong, but like that would be the year of white. And if I was to put a color for now, it would be something much richer, something much more evoking emotions, right? And it can be different for everybody. But if you look at what I've been knitting with this year, my color of the year, heather. My color of the year. That's my, like, purple heather. That is my color of the year. And then as a bookend of my heather colors will be this beautiful purple. This one's called Advent, but basically just deep purple, because I've made the skirt in January and this now in December. Apart from that, I have been really experimenting with colors. Okay, like, this is not a crazy experiment, but at the same time, this is not my regular palette. Also done the Rowena jumper in funky chartreuse maybe color. So I've done, like, I have not gone the basic route this year. Kind of a little bit, but yeah. Like, for example, the butter yellow hit right spot. I really don't know what it is. Like, it is not necessarily my color. I made my socks in it, but this is maybe not something I would make a bigger garment in. But that I can kind of understand. It's, again, not my favorite, but it's an interesting color. But white, it's just, I don't know, it makes me think of very futuristic, clinical places, not necessarily a calming space, but that is just my interpretation. And so kind of what I'm trying to say with all of this is that it just does not seem like these Pantone people are getting us, really. And maybe we should, first of all, stop, looking at the color of the year. Or in general, maybe Pantone should not be in charge of the color all over the world. Just an idea. I've put on a couple rounds on this, and I'm quite happy. And the next thing I want to talk about is the game of wool, but I have not seen the last episode. I've seen up to the semifinals, and I don't really have any comments regarding the show itself. But there's an interesting, like a couple second clip that I have seen on it, and it was, I think, Elsa using a ball winder, and when she's using it, it's a little bit shaky, and it kind of like, it's a bit fiddly, and it's just like a 3-second thing. But what I just wanted to discuss is that there are so many knitters, right, all over the world, millions, and all we have to work with is these terrible ball winders or really expensive ones, you know, including the electric ones. Like, of course, I'm not saying that these cheap ones are the only ones available, but also these cheap ones are not really that cheap. They are just really, really cheaply made, but they're actually, you know, they can go between like $20 and $50. Like, that's actually quite a lot of money for something that kind of like falls apart. So mine, you know, constantly will, like this, the pin, it constantly will fall and or fall out or just kind of drop. And I paid like, you know, 500 krona for it, which is, you know, something close to like $50. And I bought it at a nice yarn shop. I think it was at Hillesvåg, and I just wanted to, like, I wanted one, and I was there, and it was there. And I've seen like online the same ones, and like, you know, every shop seems to be having the same one, the same type, the same kind of generic box. And the box was also kind of like, it looked like it just came straight from a factory in China, which, you know, it's fine, but you get my point. And then it's like all this like shaky bits, and my point is that even on this Best Knitter of Britain show, they have, you know, of course, the same stuff that everybody else has, right? So my point is that there's not so many options for this particular tool, and it just makes me kind of wonder, like, has there been really like no advancements in this particular field? Is there like no interest to improve this? And it just makes me think of like all the tools that are for, like, you know, woodworking and all the other, let's say more of a hobby stuff. How come there is not a better ball winder that is available in a relatively, you know, affordable prices, right? So that's just something to think about, and something we can all bond over, is the pain of using these nightmare of ball winders. So with that all said, thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best holidays and a happy new year, and I hope to see you very soon.